Are you wanting high-speed internet but don't have access to PUD fiber? Try Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet from LocalTel. Call 888-8888 today.
Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCW Life Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window where once again, boy, all week it has been just a cold one. High temperatures today only in the upper 20s as we look down at the beautiful Wenatchee Valley and some clouds beginning to move in. That was our forecast today, calling for increasing clouds, and it's all ahead of a storm system. In fact, a couple of them we'll see over the next few days. Tonight we can expect some moderate snow mainly to our west, maybe a dusting of snow by tomorrow morning here in the Wenatchee Valley. But if you're traveling down in the Palouse area, you could see drifting snow beginning tonight into Saturday morning. And yes, we could see some windy conditions then by Sunday afternoon. Here's a look at some of those snow totals. If you are traveling west, over 10 inches of snow is predicted for both Stevens and Snoqualmie passes. Up north, Mount Baker, about 11 to 12 inches of snow. And there is a winter weather advisory there. In fact, a winter storm warning that went into effect at 4 o'clock this morning and will remain into effect until 4 a.m. on Saturday morning. So if you are traveling over any of the mountain passes, be very, very careful. That snow will change over to rain tomorrow afternoon. And we'll tell you all about the weather coming up this weekend a little bit later on. And now a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. We'll tell you about a Wenatchee man who was the victim of a hit-and-run accident, and he's still suffering. And a Washington cattlemen's group is howling mad over being left out of grant money to ease conflicts between wolves and cattle. But first, we begin tonight. Two mysterious, if not ominous, messages were found Wednesday inside a boys' restroom at Wenatchee High School. The discovery prompted this public notification from Principal Eric Anderson.
Yesterday, February 21st, two messages were found on the boys' bathroom walls at WHS stating, "Don't come to school March 2nd. The administration did an investigation, watched video, followed all leads, and at this time have no suspects. It is important to understand that the Wenatchee Police Department does not believe this to be a credible threat. It is also important to note that there is no specific threat mentioned. The message is simply said, 'Don't come to school.' However, we are taking this seriously, have invested significant time and personnel to investigate this matter, and will continue to do so. We will keep you informed as more information becomes available, and of course, we will continue to rely on the Wenatchee Police Department for guidance and next steps. If you or your student have any information that may help us solve this case, please contact us with that information."
Wenatchee School District officials and the Wenatchee Police Department are investigating those messages. As Anderson noted, no suspects have been identified. For now, the Wenatchee School District is planning to go ahead as normal for school next week. Meanwhile, in Grant County yesterday, Frontier Middle School in Moses Lake was placed in lockdown as police investigated another disturbing message found inside a campus restroom. This message read, "I'm going to be a professional school shooter," and said, "That's what the Florida shooter said." Moses Lake police are investigating, but no suspects have been identified. Well, a Wenatchee man is hurting both physically and financially after he was run over by a hit-and-run suspect last December. NCW Life's Steve Hare reports.
Sean Goldie suffered multiple broken bones when he was struck while walking in a crosswalk on the south side of town. The suspect was never found, leaving police with few, if any, leads and leaving the victim crippled and nearly destitute. Goldie spoke with NCW Life News about the fateful day back on December 15th of last year when he was injured.
Well, it was a Friday. It was my first day off for my weekend from my job at Walmart. And I was hanging out at the house, not feeling too great, had a little bit of a cold, and was debating all day whether to make something here to eat or go down to the 7-Eleven to get some nachos or something to eat. So I finally decided to go to the 7-Eleven, and after walking down the hill, I got in the crosswalk, and I was about halfway through the crosswalk, and the people started yelling all around the cars there, and I looked to my left and saw a car just about to strike me, and I was knocked to the ground and broke my shoulder in 5 places and broke my leg in 1 place.
The suspect driver fled the scene and is still loose. Meanwhile, Captain Edgar Reinfeld with the Wenatchee Police Department said the investigation has gone cold.
The investigation really has reached kind of a stalemate. We developed a suspect almost immediately in this case. We had some information that led us to believe it was a certain individual. Had multiple arrest warrants, really didn't have a driver's license, and fleeing from the scene of a crash, these can often be indicators to why somebody would run. The suspect was identified, like I said. It was not the vehicle owner. The registered owner of the vehicle is one person. Our potential driver suspect was another one. Through the course of the investigation, we of course interviewed our victim. We interviewed a number of witnesses. We took the photo montage route, showed photo montages of our potential suspect to a variety of people. And unfortunately, we're never able to develop probable cause for an arrest in this case. Suspect is still outstanding on his arrest warrants. Were we to contact him at some point, certainly we'll be interviewing about the crash, but at this time we don't have any ability to make an arrest. The search warrant was served on the vehicle. We found some paperwork related to our suspect in the vehicle, but it still doesn't conclusively put him in the driver's seat to the point where we can actually arrest anyone.
In the meantime, Goldie remains physically unable to return to his job.
I was in a wheelchair for 45 days, couldn't stand at all. I've been about 3 weeks now back to learning to walk again, and my leg's about 70%. I can stand and I can walk short distances now, but I still have a lot of problems if I try to walk too far. And my arm's about 40%. I'm getting some of my range of motion back, but I still have a lot of strength issues, and there's a lot of stuff I can't do with my arm still.
Goldie's mother has started a GoFundMe account to help him with his rent and living and medical expenses.
By the time I get back to work, it'll be 4 months without working, so I'm going to have 4 months back rent and 4 months back on all the bills in addition to the medical expenses, and just not having money to live on at the moment. So we started a GoFundMe account, and we've had a little local support, but certainly could use some additional support because I have very limited income until I get back to work, and that won't be until the end of March, 1st of April.
For Sean, it's been a tough recovery, but he remains upbeat about the future and grateful for any support he receives. He also credits Confluence Health for helping him find affordable rehabilitation through Colonial Vista. Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
Thank you, Steve. Coming up next, at last night's Wenatchee City Council meeting, council members discussed the issue of Bitcoin mining, and the biggest fundraiser of the year benefiting CASA is tomorrow. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life Evening News.
My name's Robert Duff. Current and previous occupation is architect, engineer, and lawyer. Grew up here in Washington, born in Moses Lake. When I first came to CVCH, was looking for a place to get some dental work done. I was really impressed with the people at the counter. I mean, they were just on top of it. It only took her like 15 minutes to do their job. I didn't feel anything. The technology is so great, you don't even realize you're at the dentist. These people are so professional. I would have any one of these people in my home for dinner. These people are family.
Quality, comfort, style, service. This is the Crown Furniture difference for more than 50 years. Their commitment to you is to provide the best furniture and mattresses the industry has to offer at a great price. Shop Crown Furniture today to experience the difference. And remember, free setup, delivery, and haul away in their service area is just another way they show they care.
Welcome back. In other news, Wenatchee's been called the epicenter for Bitcoin and blockchain mining in the United States. At last night's Wenatchee City Council meeting, council members discussed the issue and looked at ways to proceed with the current cryptocurrency explosion. Wenatchee Mayor Frank Kuntz says unlike the city of Chelan, who placed a moratorium on Bitcoin mining, Wenatchee is taking a different approach.
Last night we took a little bit of a different route than some of the other jurisdictions in our county have done, and we actually set up interim controls, which are basically interim land use regulations regarding blockchain mining and Bitcoin mining. And in essence, what we've done is we've said, well, in certain districts inside the city, so the industrial areas and some of the business districts, if you want to mine Bitcoin or other blockchain, you can, as long as you have a permit from L&I and you've met all the other normal building requirements, and so in other words, making it safe, they'll be allowed. In the residential areas, they are currently not allowed, and we've made it clear that they're not allowed in the residential areas. And so we actually have interim land use as opposed to a moratorium.
Mayor Kuntz says the city worked in concert with the Chelan County PUD in drafting the decision on cryptocurrency.
PUD has asked for restrictions, and they got some. I think they may have wanted further restrictions than they got from the city because we actually allow it in certain areas. So it was very cooperative. We understand what they're dealing with. I think they understand what we're dealing with, and so I think it worked out well. I think to the extent that we have these interim controls in place, gives them a little bit of teeth in terms of if it's pretty clear that there's a house that's got a bunch of mining machines going on, and they can tell by how the power is being used, they could turn it over to our code enforcement department and we'll go knock on the door.
The mayor also says the city is looking at this new phenomena very closely and adds that many of the recent applications for mining in Wenatchee will mean more jobs. In a letter to Douglas County Commissioners on Wednesday, Douglas County District Court Judge Judith McCauley says she'll retire from the bench effective May 1st. The 72-year-old McCauley has worked for Douglas County for 38 years, 23 years as a district court judge, and 15 years as the county's first woman prosecutor. McCauley's 4-year term was due to end on December 31st, and her retirement in May allows the county commissioners time to appoint an interim judge until the November election. Any new judge elected in November would take office immediately under a short and full-term clause in state elections law. The election winner would then commence a regular 4-year term starting on January 1st. McCauley is the third judge to retire this year in the Wenatchee Valley, following in the footsteps of Chelan County Superior Court judges Alicia Nakata and Chip Small. Well, a Washington cattlemen's group is howling mad over being left out of grant money to ease conflicts between wolves and cattle. Here's more on that story. 4 ranches and a new nonprofit have been awarded a total of $276,000 in state funds to protect cattle in Washington's wolf country with range riders and fences. Meanwhile, a proposal by the cattle producers of Washington, whose members include ranchers most affected by wolves, have been denied funding. The cattlemen propose collaborating with state and local officials to collar more wolves, more closely monitor packs, and more efficiently haze predators. 2 sheriffs and county commissioners in all 4 Northeast Washington counties endorsed the plan. The application, however, was opposed by the Department of Fish and Wildlife. Fish and Wildlife said the cattlemen's proposal wasn't in line with lawmakers' direction to use the money for community-based, non-lethal measures. Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife did not have objections to funding the nonprofit group or individual ranches. The State Department of Agriculture will distribute the grants based on the recommendations of a 4-member panel representing conservation districts in Ferry, Okanagan, Stevens, and Pend Oreille counties. Fish and Wildlife already spends about $400,000 per year to help ranchers pay for non-lethal measures to guard livestock from wolves. Grant Olson, NCW Life News. The biggest fundraiser of the year benefiting CASA, that's the Corn-appointed Special Advocates, is tomorrow at Eastmont Lanes. Executive Director Sue Baker talked about the Rock and Roll for Kids Bowl-a-thon on this morning's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
You just come out and you bowl for 1 hour. You have a great time, and you can put teams together with family or friends or, people that you work with. And the whole thing is like a lot of the fundraisers, you go out and get donations, you see how much money you can bring in. The Kiwanis and some other groups will compete against each other, see who can bring in the most. The PUD has several teams that are coming, and you're right, some of the people come up and they dress up. And each year they have a theme, a different theme that they're going to dress up as, and they come and just have a great time.
The bowling starts at 2 o'clock tomorrow, and you can sign up as an individual or as a team by logging on to the website, that's cdcasa.org. You're watching the NCW Life Evening News. Coming up next, your sports update with Eric Granstrom and our feature story tonight. That and much more still to come on the NCW Life Evening News. Stay with us.
Hey, this is Justin at Club Crow Bar and Grill reminding you it's your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Jam sessions and live bands playing a wide range of music. If pool tables or pull tabs are more your thing, we have you covered. Enjoy the fun and food at Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Stop on by today.
Thursday night, hockey night on the NCW Life Channel. It all begins at 7 o'clock with a call of the Wild and Clarkie's Corner. Then it's non-stop hockey action with a voice of the Wild, Arch Ecker. Join us as the Wild battle the rest of the BCHL. Thursday night is hockey night on the NCW Life Channel.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life Channel.
And a happy finally Friday. We're on the home stretch for area high school basketball teams trying to make it to the state tournament next week, either in Yakima or Spokane. Here's what's on tap tonight. There are 2 games being played at Wenatchee High School this evening. First is a 1B regional featuring 20-2 Etihad against 11-9 Riverside Christian, with a winner advancing to the state 1B tournament in Spokane next week. The loser season is over. The Tigers are heavily favored in this one, as the 2 teams have met twice this season, with Etihad easily handling the Crusaders by an average of 50 points. A win for Etihad would mean a first-round state game next Wednesday against the loser of tomorrow's game between Mount Rainier Lutheran and Colton. Etihad and Riverside Christian tip tonight at 6 o'clock. The other game at Wenatchee High School tonight is a boys 2B regional pitting 14-8 Friday Harbor out of the Northwest League against the Central Washington League's Oroville Hornets, who come in with a record of 14-9. It's a win and you're in, lose and you're out scenario for these teams. The winner would face the loser of tonight's game between Morton White Pass and Adna next Wednesday at State B in Spokane. This game starts at 8 o'clock. Also tonight at Ellensburg High School, the Brewster boys take on the high-flying Kittitas Thorpe Coyotes, who are 22-1 this season, ranked number 1 in Class 2B hoops. This 8 o'clock game is for seeding purposes, basically the regional championship. Winner moves on to the second round of the state 2B tournament in Spokane next week, while the loser will play a first-round game Wednesday against the winner between Orcas Island and Life Christian Academy. Now turning to tomorrow at Wenatchee High School, the 2B girls regional features Brewster against Mossy Rock. Bears come in with a record of 18-3, while the Vikings are 18-7. Game tips at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. A winner to state loser out contest, with the winner playing the loser of tonight's game between St. George's and Davenport at State 2B next week in Spokane. The 4 o'clock girls game tomorrow at Wenatchee High features 20-1 Cashmere against 17-6 Lakeside out of 9 Miles Fall for the 1A regional championship. The winner moves on to the second round of the state championship Thursday in Yakima, while the loser faces a first round game against the winner of Seattle Academy and Seattle Christian. I'll be at Wenatchee High School covering tonight's Etihad game and tomorrow's Cashmere game, with the results posted on our website and Facebook page over the weekend. So be sure and watch also for highlights coming up on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on Monday. Well, the Wenatchee Wild are in Vernon tonight to take on the Vipers in a battle for second place in the Interior Division of the BCHL. Both teams are in a virtual tie for the number 2 seed heading into the BCHL's postseason. With a win tonight, Wenatchee would earn 2 points to climb to 81 points on the season. First place Penticton sitting at 83 points and doesn't play tonight. They'll host the Wild in Wenatchee's season finale tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. It's possible for Wenatchee to tie Vernon for first place and the number 1 seed by winning both games this weekend and having Salmonarn upset the V's on Sunday. We'll see about that. We'll also have scores and highlights coming up Monday on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Well, as the season winds down in the BCHL, there are a few Wild representatives who are up for postseason awards. Wenatchee's Jasper Weatherby is up for the Vern Dye Memorial Trophy as Rookie of the Year. Cooper Zek is a finalist for the Defensive Award for the top defenseman in the league, and Wild coach Bliss Littler, a finalist for the Joe Tennant Memorial Trophy as Coach of the Year. The awards voted by the coaches throughout the BCHL will be announced next week prior to the playoffs. A couple of things coming up this weekend here around the Valley real quick. Kiss My Ice Women's Hockey Tournament starts today, run through Sunday at the community rink at the Town Toyota Center. We'll hear more about the Sportsman Show coming up next. Also this weekend, Run Wenatchee, Confluence Health, and Wenatchee Valley Medical Group have teamed up to put on the Heartbreaker 5K. That's tomorrow morning at Pybus. That's sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. It's become an annual tradition during the winter at the Town Toyota Center. It's the Wenatchee Valley Sportsman Show. NCW Life's Eric Grandstrom was there when the doors opened at noon today.
The Town Toyota Center is the site for the 5th annual Wenatchee Valley Sportsman Show happening this weekend. The doors opened early today at noon, and there was quite a lineup of people that were outside the Town Toyota Center. I asked the first gentleman who came through the door why he was here so early and so eager to get in. He said he just really wanted to get out of the cold. I don't blame him too much, but chilly temperatures this weekend. Place to be is here at the Town Toyota Center, both outside and inside. You can see behind me here, they've got plenty of displays for anybody that has any interest in outdoor pursuits, whether it's hunting or fishing. If you want to take a guide service somewhere around the Pacific Northwest or around the world, in fact, you can talk about it here this weekend. Schuler Productions does a great job of putting this on. Now, there's something for everybody, in fact, for the whole family. The kids can fish in the trout pond here, Lunker Lake. Okay, we're at Lunker Lake, and this young man just caught a big fish. What's your name?
Kason.
And what happened just now?
I caught a fish, but then a couple times he fell off and he bit the thing off, so we had to catch it 3 times, and then we caught it the 3rd.
So now, have you caught a fish before?
No.
What? That's your first ever fish?
Mm-hmm.
So
I caught 2 fish today.
You
here.
caught 2 today?
Uh-huh.
And those are your first fish ever?
Mm-hmm.
6 years old, Kason Larson is at Lunker Lake landing a fish here at the Wenatchee Valley Sportsman Show. Sure to attract a lot of attention here this weekend during the Wenatchee Valley Sportsman Show, the Reindeer Express.
Well, we've got 4 reindeer. We've got a gelding, a 10-month-old baby, and then 2 adult females. And on Sunday, there'll be petting so the kids can come pet them. And we haven't really put an age limit on kids, so I guess if you're a 60-year-old kid, you can still pet them too. Yeah. Reindeer and caribou are the only members of the deer family where both sexes have antlers. So these 2 right here, although they've got pretty good size antlers, the ones right close to us are both females. So, and they do shed their antlers. There's some people say they don't, but both sexes shed antlers, and of course they pull Santa's sleigh.
So the show runs till 7 tonight, tomorrow 10 to 6, and Sunday 10 to 5 happening here this weekend at the Town Toyota Center. It's the 5th annual Wenatchee Valley Sportsman Show at the Town Toyota Center. I'm Eric Grandstrom for NCW Life Channel News.
And we'll be back in just a moment with your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Lake Chelan mailboxes find solutions and the best price for all your shipping needs, including UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. We offer a variety of services including quality copies of all sizes, faxing, scanning, sending and receiving email, laminating, and notarizing. Enjoy browsing through our large selection of greeting cards. Lake Chelan Mailboxes supports our military, fire victims, and our community. Come see us at the Plaza in Lake Chelan.
How about having majestic mountains, a beautiful shoreline, and 26 acres of lush walking trails be the backdrop of your special event? Lake Wenatchee YMCA Camp has cabins, meeting spaces, and a lodge with a kitchen that will accommodate large gatherings. Our staff at Lake Wenatchee YMCA Camp will work with you to ensure that your wedding, retreat, class reunion, or birthday is amazing. Reserve your day today.
Yes, we are live from Studio 2. I am Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We got news, we got sports, we got weather, we got obscure holiday, today in history and birthdays. Tom Potter joins me in studio. How are you? And Rod Cool is my guest today. The expert is Bonnie Orr. We're broadcasting live from Studio 4, from Studio 2, Studio 7 here in downtown Wenatchee. Time for the obscure holiday of the day. Your dog to work day. Beautician's Day. It's National Selfie Day, and in honor of National Selfie Day, I'm going to take a picture of myself.
Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Mornings at 7 o'clock on the NCW Life channel.
Time now for a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. And before we get to the details of all that, and there's a lot to talk about, let's take a look outside our weather window where we are seeing increasing clouds. That's been our trend throughout the afternoon. Now late in the day, some clouds, and that means snow showers moving into North Central Washington. We're seeing it already in the western part of the state. And that's pretty much what we can expect here over the next probably 24 to 48 hours. What we're seeing is a 1-2 winter weather punch. It's on track to impact at least the eastern third of Washington and the Idaho Panhandle beginning late this afternoon and continuing at times all the way through Sunday. The reason for this winter weather is an area of low pressure currently dipping south-southeast along the eastern edge, and that's along a huge ridge that's currently parked in the Gulf of Alaska and then on down the northern British Columbia coast. Round 2 of that winter weather will arrive early Saturday morning and as a fairly strong trough slices southeastward through the forecast area. We have a 30% chance of snow beginning tonight and a 30% chance once again on Saturday. And then by Saturday night, our chances for precipitation goes up to 60% with a 70% chance of snow on Sunday. We're expecting maybe an inch or two of total accumulation in the Wenatchee Valley, but parts of eastern Washington could see around 3 to 6 inches of snow. And as we mentioned at the top of the newscast, areas in western Washington could see 10 to 12 inches of snow over the next 24 hours. High temperatures this weekend will warm into the mid-40s. That's good news. And after a quiet weather day on Monday, a series of weak weather systems moves our way, and that's Tuesday through Thursday with a 30 to 40% chance of rain mixed with snow showers. Here's a look at your forecast now as we head into our upcoming weekend. Tonight, 25 degrees our overnight low, and that's a big improvement compared to what we've seen. Tomorrow, AM snow showers, some sun in the afternoon tomorrow, and 45. Our best chance for moisture will be Saturday night into Sunday, where we'll see a high temperature of 43 degrees. Mostly sunny and mild for Monday and 43. Then we'll stay in the mid-40s on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with about a 30 to 40% chance for rain mixed with snow showers. And I do want to remind you before we leave tonight that if you have a video of the day that you'd like to see right here on the NCW Life Evening News, message us on our Facebook page at the NCW Life channel. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we would like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel Monday morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz and News with Steve Hare. Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your Stoke?
Get the fastest internet available in North Central Washington by switching to LocalTel and get speeds up to 1,000 meg. Call 888-8888 today or go online to localtel.net.